Southern Syria stands at a crossroads. In Damascus, explosions echoed as Israeli missiles struck the Syrian army's general staff headquarters. Moments later, more missiles targeted the presidential palace. Then, Syrian forces loyal to President Ahmed Al Shara in Sweida and Daraa. Israel's message was unmistakable: withdraw from the south or face the consequences. Under relentless airstrikes, Al Shara pulled his forces from the entire south. He framed the move as the result of US, Arab, and Turkish mediation, claiming they had saved the region from an unknown fate. But the reality on the ground told a different story. Damascus lost its command centers, and with them, its hold on southern Syria. The ceasefire followed just 90 hours of brutal fighting. 374 killed, including 148 Druze fighters and civilians, 207 pro-government troops, and dozens of civilians, among them women and children. Bodies continue to be recovered, many unidentified, some discovered in body bags at Sweida National Hospital. The Syrian Observatory documented 27 Druze executed in the streets and 28 civilians killed in crossfire. The withdrawal was sealed by a security agreement between Damascus and Druze leaders. Immediate ceasefire, ending Israel's pretext for airstrikes. Joint monitoring committee, giving Druze elders shared oversight of security in the south. Syrian police deployment in Sweida and Daraa, commanded exclusively by Druze officers. Reintegration of Sweida into state institutions, affirming Syrian sovereignty. Weapons regulation, coordinated with Druze leadership, allowing them to retain arms as a historical and social necessity. In return, Druze leaders demanded protection of homes and civilians, legal guarantees for equal citizenship, independent investigations into abuses by both sides, compensation for victims and damaged property, security for the vital Sweida-Damascus highway, restoration of water, electricity, fuel, and healthcare services, release of Druze detainees and disclosure of the missing, and a follow-up committee to oversee implementation, with the right to resume hostilities if terms are broken. The deal itself split the Druze leadership. Sheikh Yusuf Jorbo, one of the community's senior figures, supported it as the only path to end bloodshed. Sheikh Hikmat al-Hijari, the highest spiritual authority, rejected any agreement with Damascus and called for continued fighting until all southern territories were liberated. Despite official rhetoric about unity, Sweida now leans closer than ever toward de facto autonomy. Images of Israeli flags waving in Kuniatra and southern Sweida, sometimes raised by Israeli troops, sometimes by Syrian Druze civilians, underscore the widening rift between Damascus and the region. For Israel, long intent on fracturing Syria along sectarian lines, the formula is clear: no Syrian army in the south, no Syrian air cover above it. Turkey attempted to help Damascus rebuild its air defenses, yet within hours of Turkish experts leaving, Israeli jets bombed 3 air bases, sending an unambiguous signal: any attempt to restore Syrian air power will be met with force. Israel's dominance of Syrian airspace is now absolute. Damascus, once capable of downing Israeli jets, is left exposed. Southern Syria's future hangs in the balance, a region slipping beyond Damascus's control. Israeli air superiority unchallenged, sectarian fragmentation deepening with every clash. President Al Shara faces an impossible equation: seek alliances strong enough to restore sovereignty, or watch as the South drifts further toward federalization and division. This conflict is no longer just a battle between the army and Druze factions. It is a struggle for Syria's territorial integrity itself. Will Syrians overcome sectarian divides to preserve their nation? Or will southern Syria become the first step towards Syria's fragmentation? This is Decoding MENA, where we untangled the region's most complex narratives. Subscribe to follow our next investigations.